Here we go. Good afternoon, world. It is moments past noon in Waxahachie, Texas, here on the 18th of March. We had a big St. Patty's Day yesterday. I was wearing the green. I
Yep.
did have some corned beef and cabbage. Did you have that last night?
Heck no, I don't like that
Oh, come
stuff. I
on.
wore green, but I don't eat that stuff.
Oh,
I
it's
don't
brisket
care.
even better.
Yeah.
This is episode 48 of Grit and Good News, and we are broadcasting live from our palatial downtown historic studios in the shadows of the historic Ellis County Courthouse. I'm your co-host, Jeff Lynch. We got our man Sam Brooks running the board. We got our man Scott Brooks right here next
Yep.
to me.
We're
And
ready.
today on the 48th, we've
Oh
got a
yeah.
new tradition. I tell you what, that 48 number is dominated by pitchers primarily, and very few athletes from other sports of any significance wore that
Was
number.
Mariano Rivera? Was he number 48?
No, I did
Oh,
not see him on the list.
okay.
We do have one non-pitcher. I know we got the great Torrey Hunter from the Minnesota
Oh
Twins.
yeah.
We got Jacob DeGrom
Oh,
is on
see,
that
our
list, and
gonna be
even though
our
he's
ace.
he's he's current, we got Lee Smith from the Cubs. He
Yeah.
wasn't a pitcher. We got Sam McDowell had a great nickname. You know the nickname?
Sam McDowell.
Sudden Sam McDowell.
Sudden.
Sudden Sam.
Sudden
We
Sammy.
got the great Wade Hoyt, who played from 1918 to 1938. He played 20 years back in those days. Wow.
Yeah.
And we got Joe Negro
Yep.
from 67 to 88. And what was he famous for?
Well, he was a knuckleballer.
Knuckleballer.
Yeah, he had a twin brother too, or a brother, Phil
Yeah,
Necro.
Phil Negro.
Yep.
And they both threw it.
Yeah.
They both threw it.
I said, the game today doesn't have a knuckleballer. Did you know that? Pretty much.
I thought that last year we had one guy in the
Maybe there's
playoffs that
one.
was throwing it. Um,
There's. I don't know why we don't have more.
I don't either. It's a baffler.
Yeah.
It's a baffler. Let's get on the
All
meteor
right. So,
items.
yeah. So, thank you for being here. We do the show every Tuesday and Thursday right here on the platform that you're viewing us on, whether it be Facebook, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, and we have video segments that are going up on TikTok. So, feel free to check those out. I'm doing my top 10 countdown list of the worst Democrats in Congress. I am on number 7. So I'll be doing one of those videos probably this afternoon with Sammy, and then we'll be posting it. But thank you for being here. Jeff and I appreciate it very, very much, and we have a blast. So just by way of update, well, first we got a lot to talk about today, and we're gonna get through this in rapid fire. But by way of update, I wanted to share with you all. We talked about last Thursday. We talked about Robert Morris, the former pastor, senior pastor of Gateway Church in Southlake.
And
That
many other campuses.
Yeah, and many other campuses. Right. Morris had been not convicted. He had been accused of sexual misconduct. I don't know if they've got it to sexual assault yet or not, but
Lewd.
yeah, activity with a 12-year-old. She was 12 to 17 years old. Last week, we told you that he had uh, been charged with those, and that happened on Friday. No, it must happen on Thursday. The update is yesterday morning, he turned himself in to the police in Osage County, Oklahoma. He was released on $50,000 bond, according to
That's a light bond.
it is a light bond, and the judge ordered Morris to surrender his passport to the local sheriff. I want to read a couple things to you from the story. Morris's initial court appearance has been scheduled for 10 a.m. on May the 9th, according to a spokesperson for Oklahoma Attorney General uh, Gentner Drummond. Morris could face up to 20 years in prison for each of the 5 charges, according to the Attorney General's office. There are 5 charges, so 5 times 20. Even I can figure out that that's 100 years.
I know.
Additionally, Morris resigned last year as pastor of Gateway Church in Southlake after a woman accused him of sexually abusing her in the 80s. It's an incredible story. The alleged abuse started in 1982 when the victim was 12 years old, and Morris was a traveling evangelist staying in Hominy, Oklahoma. The traveling evangelist piece of this is a critical part of the story. He was living with her family, the person he allegedly assaulted. The abuse allegedly continued for 4 years, almost after. This is from the a victim after almost 43 years. The law has finally caught up with Robert Morris for the horrific crimes he committed against me as a child, said Clemenshire, now 55 years old. Now it is time for the legal system to hold him accountable. After Clemenshire, the victim, first publicly alleged Morris abused her, legal experts told the news the statute of limitations for a criminal case against him may have expired. And this is, again, the key part of this. The reason it's still a case is because, according to the Oklahoma Attorney General, said in a news release last week, the statute of limitations did not apply in this case because Morris was never a resident of Oklahoma. Drummond told the uh, media Thursday that Oklahoma law pauses the statute of limitations for criminal prosecution for as long as the crime's alleged perpetrator does not live in Oklahoma. So, because Robert Morris was what they call a traveling preacher back in those days, and not a citizen or a resident. Oh, we didn't have that on. A resident of Oklahoma, there is no statute of limitations. Hello to everybody on Instagram. We had a little snafu there. Uh, Glad you're with us. We're just talking about Robert Morris, the pastor, former senior pastor at Gateway Church, having turned himself in yesterday morning in Oklahoma.
Couple minor comments about a minor. Um, this in no way excuses him if he was indeed guilty. This in no way is a criticism or indictment of the woman who was a girl. But parents, keep an eye on what's going on not only in your house but with your children. The grip that he had to have had on her for 5 years to be living under roof and abusing her and her not telling, not letting on in any fashion,
Yeah.
it's it's very unbelievable. The other thing that is not being talked about a lot, but it was mentioned at one time, and I picked up on it. And you say, well, now you're coming out at age 55 and bringing this up. Why didn't you bring it up before? At one time, and I believe it was in her 20s, and she was going through therapy, and she thought it would be good to get it out and to maybe make an accusation and whatnot. And she entered into negotiations with him. He was going to give her a cash settlement,
Mm-hmm.
and it was tied to a non disclosure. And she did not think that that was right to stifle those feelings in her for a, some sort of pile of cash that wasn't really probably going to change her life significantly.
Right.
She didn't want any part of that.
Yeah.
And then she kept living with it, and then it became
Yeah.
unbearable.
I mean,
And it all,
it is a description of the worst among
hmm
us and the best among us, insofar as this is a woman who lived with this, as you said, for 43 some odd years. Bless you. And she finally said, I'm gonna do what's necessary, and the courage and strength that she has to do this is quite amazing because Gateway has grown. He wasn't even Gateway wasn't around then, and so Gateway started and became a behemoth in the mega church world, and so with that comes power and
yeah,
un unnecessary power that these pastors try to obtain and all that. They've got it backwards. But anyway, it took a lot of courage for
yeah,
her to come forward, and I know you aren't questioning her.
not at
It's
all, not
more
at
about
all.
it is more about how does a 12-year-old in 1982, granted it was a better society then, and you got a preacher living with you. He's a young man. You probably the last thing on those parents' minds is that this preacher is doing things to our daughter under the both literal and figurative cover of darkness. It's probably the last thing they ever thought of. And for her, the strength she's shown in coming out and talking about it is equal to the strength that she must have had to keep this from everyone,
hmm
including her
hmm
sister, who was close to her age. I saw a picture of both of them at Christmas 1982, which is on Christmas Day is when this started. And for her to I assume he told her to keep it quiet because it wouldn't be good for anyone if it was found out. She must have had so much fear, so much
Exactly.
self-doubt, so
Exactly.
much low self-esteem to keep that to herself. But it is, Sammy
Yeah.
went down.
And then when the Harvey Weinstein thing came up and we had the whole Me Too movement, she didn't bring it up then.
Yeah,
It just was.
it's an amazing story. And, there's compassion is a blessing and a curse, in my opinion. Because I question myself, okay, do I think she deserves all the compassion in the world and all the uh, I don't know, encouragement
Hmm.
and support?
Strong woman. Strong
Then you
woman.
say, does Robert Morris deserve any element of compassion? This is a guy who did something horrible. Uh,
And then did a lot of good since then,
And
right?
it did, yeah. Now I do understand that his church was, as reports have come out since he left, which was last June, that church had a very bad toxic culture, which isn't surprising to me.
Starts from the
Um,
top
it
down.
does, yeah. Fish rots from the head down, and so I don't know that I have compassion for Robert Morris. He's my age, and I'm thinking about, wow, he's dealt with that for 40 some odd years, and now you got to believe that over the 44 years or 45, whatever number of years it's been, that he said he had to believe at some point, well, this is behind me now. But
Yeah, imagine how shocked he was when it came out. I was like,
yeah,
really?
yeah, and that
After all this time,
it's a
and you were
loophole.
under my thumb
Yeah,
all that time?
and a loophole that basically protected her, and I'm happy for her that she was able to see
Amen.
this
Amen.
justice. So anyway, there's the update. That was a long update
Yeah,
on Robert Morris. I also want to mention to you, if you have not seen or heard about last Friday, might have been on Saturday, but I think it was Friday, when the potential impending closing down of the government was approaching at midnight Friday night. How this government ever finds itself in these places just is beyond me.
no,
Yeah,
hello, annually.
yeah. I mean, it's amazing. And then they want 30 days or 90 days to have, figured out, well, what have you been doing for the last year? I mean, I'm preaching to the choir here, but Chuck Schumer, in a surprising move, decided to come out and support Donald Trump in making sure that the government didn't shut down. And so what was Schumer and what's that old thing about the broken clock is right twice a
It
day,
is indeed.
or a blind squirrel gets lucky here and there.
Yes, it
Chuck
does.
Schumer stumbled into a bit of ethics and morality and wanted to do what's best for the country instead of
Yeah,
what's best for his party, and worked with Trump to, we went down against him, went, did what's best for the country
yeah.
instead of the party. And so, but now he's getting skewed by the left. Telling you, they are after him so much so that he has canceled. He's called off and canceled his book release, which I don't know what kind of book he's selling, and I don't know why people would line up to read it. But
It's a
anyway,
tell all.
yeah,
They're always
well,
tell alls.
tell a bunch of lies probably. But Schumer's book events have been called off over security concerns. Don't you know that there's some whack job liberal out there that wanted to go see Chuck Schumer and either assault him physically, throw eggs at him, pour paint on him, whatever these people do. But so much so that he has dropped his book tour. You can't make this stuff up. Uh, and to watch the left just devour its own is almost too much for me.
I think it's a little bit of the cumulative effect where the Democrats have been watching what's going on for a couple months now. They, they were reeling in disbelief that they ever lost, and now they keep watching it and they keep seeing things happen, and they keep saying to themselves, "That makes some sense," but we can't admit it
Yeah,
because we hate the man,
yeah,
and so we're cutting off our nose to spite the face,
yeah.
and
They're the
that's the
German
deal,
Shepherd jumping
Lucille.
off the cliff, right? To capture the bird, realizing that without realizing or admitting that he's going to die as he crashes to earth
Yeah.
off the top of the mountain. It's the same thing. So
There was another. I heard a clip on the radio about another in Congress. I don't know if it was a rep or a senator saying some things to the effect that we have to start as Democrats realizing the big problems that we have about all the jobs that got lost because of the things that happened in our country and all of the bad that has happened. And we need to start looking at at the path to fixing it.
Yeah,
It was very strong, and
yeah,
I'm thinking, well, you got a little ounce of courage because Schumer gave you the ability to have your own mind
yeah.
also.
It gave him a little bit of room, those that wanted it.
Yeah,
And what's interesting now, as you may have heard, is that the talk of Schumer being contested for the leadership of the
by
Democrat AOC
AOC.
and a couple of others been saying it went down. What's going on with it? Um, when that goes down, are we knocking people off Facebook? No.
Can't see ourselves.
Okay.
Comments.
So, but AOC, I mean, this is not until 2028 that Schumer's up for reelection, and he could be dead by then. I mean, any of us could be dead by then, but he's no spring chicken. But AOC of all people in Congress, AOC is the one that they want to look at and say, yeah, we want her to be the leader of the Senate. Can you imagine those other senators that have been around forever on the left saying, wait a second, AOC?
Just
Uh,
because people are floating, it doesn't mean
no, it doesn't mean anything. Or I heard somebody last night floating my old friend Jasmine Crockett.
float it, float it.
Yeah, and I say as
You
a
know what else
Republican,
floats? You know what else floats?
I say as a Republican, that would be a gift for that to happen. A gift that keeps on paying.
Right.
All right, so that's the update on Chuck Schumer. We will have in tomorrow's paper. We'll have an update on the murder, the horrific murder, as all murders are. But this one happened in our own backyard, just about half a mile from here, at the detention center, the jail, where it was in. I believe that was in early February or January. It was this year.
January.
Yeah, that a young detention officer named Isaiah Bias, was attacked by this thug and killed, beat to death. We will have an update in tomorrow's Sun. You can see what's going on with that thug and uh, and get the most recent update. All right, so that's our update for Page One News. Um, what do you think? Sammy's going to put up for everybody a story about these illegal gang members. No, they're not illegal gang members, they're illegal aliens,
Who happen
illegal
to be gang
immigrants that
members?
happen
Yeah.
to be gang members of Trinidad Aragua and others, MS-13, other gangs, I'm sure, where Trump this past weekend said these we're getting out. We're going to do what we said we're going to do, and we're going to get rid of them, and we'll put them on a dang plane. I think 3 or 4 planes, and we shipped them off to was it El Salvador or Venezuela?
El Salvador.
El Salvador, and Sammy's a story up. Yeah, okay. So you'll see that that story's there. It's an important story. It's a fascinating story, and Trump just says, you know what, we're going to do it. So Biden flew in the dichotomy here or the paradox of amazing. Biden flies illegal immigrants into the country, 30,000 of them reportedly into the country, and Trump is flying illegal immigrant
250,
criminals
250 out.
out, and yet not a word was said by the media, mainstream media, when Biden was bringing in the illegals, and they're having a conniption fit now that Trump's sending them home.
I tell you when we did learn about it on the campaign trail when Trump was running, and now I was like, "What?
Yeah.
That's been going on? Did you know that?"
No, I didn't know
No.
until it came up during the
Hello.
campaign. Yeah. So here we have Trump sending these, you're talking about thugs now. These people are the worst of the worst back to El Salvador. And so it's an interesting story. Sammy's going to show you a video of what it looks like, uh, or what it looked like and will continue to look like as these people, monsters as they're referred to, are being taken off these planes and put into the jail. So Sammy, go ahead and show that. see how they're being let in.
One by
You can go
one,
ahead and turn it on.
double keep.
Yeah, these
You
are
know, can I
these.
tell you something about gang?
Yeah.
Somebody told me a story I'd never heard about somebody that I knew a little bit about. People, a storyteller and this other guy, were badly beaten up by a gang, and that had effects on this one person all his life in terms of screwing up his knee and pain and ending up dying of a fentanyl overdose because of his dealing with pain of what had happened years ago by beaten up by a gang.
Hmm.
Aren't we tough when 12 of us beat up two?
Yeah.
God, we're tough.
Yeah. It
We are
is.
so tough.
Yeah. You see a lot of them are just little skinny rails,
Yeah.
and they talk tough. They got their tattoos. They got their whatever. Their their little accents and all that stuff. And you want to say, man, standing alone, you would I could blow on you and you'd fall over.
It's like
Is
these
that?
pictures you see on National Geographic, a bunch of hyenas, 12 of them taking down
Yeah. A
whatever
little.
the
Yeah.
bigger animal was,
Yeah. I just seeing these guys get off the airplane and the bus. I mean, they you saw where they bend them over, they cuff them and bend them over so they can't see their surroundings or where they are. They can't, that way they can't communicate with anybody about exactly where they are and what to look for. That happens in Russia and other European countries all the time, so that these prisoners don't know what's going on. And then they bend them over and shave their heads off. I mean, they pull out a razor, electric razor, and they just go at it and shaving off their facial hair and all that sort of thing. And then with just a t-shirt, tank top t-shirt and boxers, they put hundreds of them into this big facility. They got metal beds, iron, whatever, metal steel beds, and they just put them in there. So you look at you look at these scenes, and there are hundreds of these thugs who I guess they don't turn on each other, but presumably you got an MS-13 member or members in the same area as the Tren de Aragua, and I don't know that they're enemies, but you got to believe that some of these gang people
Now
are
they're
enemies.
bonded by common cause.
Yeah,
You
what's
you know
that?
the story that Trump talked to the president of Venezuela. He said, "I'd love for you to do that, but I don't want him at ours." So he talked to president of El Salvador. Said, "We got this incredible prison system. We're happy to do it. You give me a quick 6 mil, and we got it taken care of."
Yeah, 6 mil. I don't know what that breaks down per prisoner, but
No, I don't think
have
so.
you ever heard that phrase? I've always thought and I've always used it as being honor among thieves. Some people say no, it's dishonor.
I thought
You thought it was
well,
dishonor
I thought
among?
the expression that there is no honor
No, I
amongst.
think the phrase I'm referring to is when they get into places like this
Hmm.
where they are enemies, but the enemy for both of them is greater than they are enemies to each
Uh-huh.
other, that they find this common ground, honor among thieves. And so
Okay.
you find it in politics, you find it in real gang activity,
Hmm.
all sorts of examples of it. But that's what we have going on here. And so man, I'm here to tell you. Sonia and I've been watching this show called Adolescence.
Okay.
It's a four segment or four episode. It's very very good. And it shows a guy. Uh, it has prison. This has involved a young boy, not in prison, but in a in a similar.
Mhm.
But then another show that we just started watching called Time. It shows a guy that's our age roughly, and has a DUI, kills a guy, and he has to go into prison. And he is like, I don't want to fight. I don't want to hurt anybody. And one guy wants to bully him and all that. So I'd last about 30 minutes. I'd be calling
Oh, that
mama.
wouldn't be good either.
I would be calling mama. So anyway, this gang act, I mean, this sending gang members, illegal immigrants home is what needs to continue to happen. And the last part of this is that we have a judge in the Northeast that has told Trump and the administration to turn those planes around and bring them back. That you can't, because Trump has invoked
Right.
this Alien War Act from 17 or no 1800 or something, whenever, and this judge, nobody elected this judge. He was appointed by Obama. He's saying turn around and bring these guys back, as though he's he's actually siding with illegal immigrants, bring them back to this country. And Trump said they're already in the air over international waters. We ain't bringing them back.
And he says this isn't a criminal issue. This is a foreign affairs issue,
Yeah.
and you got nothing to say about it. And then the guy says, "Well, when did they leave?" And he said, "Well, I can't tell you. It's a matter of national
Yeah.
security." And he chewed him up over that comment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this judge now there I read before we came over here. This judge has now articles of impeachment against him.
bring
So
it
we'll
on.
see how that plays out. But there's the latest on illegal immigration. So what about this auto pen story? That if you haven't heard the story, Biden has been accused of using the auto pen, which Sammy, let's show them the video of what an auto pen actually looks like. It's pretty cool. It's for people who sign a lot of autographs, whether it's athletes or celebrities or politicians. Um, but you'll see how the auto pen works. So Biden used this auto pen. Actually, the people that around Biden used the auto pen to be able to show that Biden supposedly signed or was aware. You got it, Sam? Go ahead and show it. Turn it this way, bud.
Nervous doctor out there in light of the new auto pen scandal.
Are those executive orders, those pardons from the former president now null and void? Well, I think so.
A group called the Oversight Project discovered that Biden used an auto pen to sign pardons. What is an auto pen?
The auto pen. It's a machine that stores a signature and replicates it. One model or another is used by lots of lawmakers and celebrities as an alternative to signing a million autographs.
President Obama made history by authorizing the first use of the auto pen signature.
President Obama first used the auto pen to sign a bill into law back in 2011.
The pardons that sleepy Joe Biden gave to the Unselect Committee of Political Thugs and many others are hereby declared void, vacant, and of no further force or effect because of the fact that they were done by auto pen. In other words, Joe Biden did not sign them, but more importantly, he did not know anything about them.
It may be even worse, according to the Oversight Project. We gathered every document we could find with Biden's signature over the course of his presidency. All used the same auto pen signature except for the announcement that the former president was dropping out of the race last year. This news prompted Trump to post this image of Joe Biden as an auto pen machine.
Did he know what he was doing? Did he authorize it? Or is this somebody in an office, maybe a radical left lunatic, just signing whatever that person wants?
Speaker Mike Johnson previously told this story about an interaction he had with Joe Biden when he was president. This would seem to indicate that Trump is asking the right questions.
Real quickly, Mr. President, can I ask you a question? I cannot answer this from my constituents in Louisiana. Sir, why did you pause LNG exports to Europe? Like, I don't understand, liquefied natural gas is in great demand by our allies. Why would you do that? And he looks at me stunned with this, and he said, I didn't do that. And I said, Mr. President, yes, you did. It was an executive order, 3 weeks ago. And he goes, no, I didn't do that. And he's arguing with me. He was not lying to me. He genuinely did not know what he had signed. And I walked out of that meeting with fear and loathing.
So there you have it. The auto pen. I think the auto pen's a pretty cool little invention there. Last part of that with Mike Johnson is saying an important order, executive order. That Biden claims he didn't know anything about it, and so if I'm your president and you're the leader of the gang that supposedly is around me, and I'm incapable of making decisions, that you have the power of the auto pen, you can do whatever you want to, right?
Yeah, and I did not understand exactly what the auto pen was. You know what I thought? I thought it was another way of saying um, when you sign e-documents, you sign e-documents all the time. And
Yeah.
really, all that has to happen is anybody that's hacking you, and if they know there's e-documents coming,
Yeah.
and they sign on to your email,
Right.
and then
Yeah.
they take out the loan or whatever it is.
Yeah,
So
that you choose your little script or whatever that
yeah,
you want, and this is an
yeah,
actual
yeah,
signature, and
wow,
it's an arm.
yeah.
It's actually that's why Trump posted a picture of it where Biden's face would have been.
I bet a lot of celebrities and
Yeah,
famous people use that.
yeah. So it's not a real signature,
And
but you
that's
can't
going to
tell.
affect collectible value
Yeah.
of signed items.
Yeah, I
Was it
think
auto pen or was it the real
yeah,
deal?
and I think they're already dealing with that. The report now is, of what's going on, is that they say they can verify that it's not an actual signature. So Trump is making the argument that, well, if that's not Biden's actual signature, then an auto pen did it, then it's null and void. Well, these preemptive pardons, not to go off the beaten path here, but these preemptive pardons particularly, I don't think they would hold up in court. But we'll see what happens with this, because there are people, the January 6th committee, morons like Adam Schiff and Adam Kinzinger and Liz, what's her name, Cheney, and the others. You know, I'm convinced that Trump he's not going to say it overtly, but I'm certain, if I'm being honest with myself, and I try to be all the time, Trump has said to Pam Bondi, "Get them, just get them," and so I think that's why this auto pen is kind of a big issue for Trump. Is that if he can prove that they're not real, he's going to go after that January 6th committee. He's going to go after Adam Schiff. So there's an interesting story about what's going on here. And really, the greater story is how many things were decided for and about this country during Biden's term that Biden had nothing to do with. And if he didn't, I'm sure he didn't. Who did?
Right.
Who was running our country? That's what,
That's the
I mean,
$20
I
million
just can't even
question.
imagine.
Yeah.
All right. So there you have it. What do you got for us today on random thoughts from the one and only Jeffrey
Well,
Lynch?
I am the one and only. That is true, and I don't think you've
Well, there's
ever.
another Jeffrey Lynch
You're,
somewhere, I'm
you're
sure.
probably not Jeffrey Michael.
Oh, no.
You're probably not likely to hear this conversation unless it was from me. And I used it the other day when three people were at the door, and this one person said something, and the other two were tuned in, and she was clueless what it was all about. And here's what happens. Um, Later in the conversation, this woman says, "What did you say your name was?" "Ma'am, it's not what my name was, it's what it is." "Huh?" I said,
You said that to her?
"Yeah."
Yeah.
And then she goes, "Huh?" And I said, "Was is for people who are dead, and I'm here alive." "Oh, yeah, I guess that does make some sense." And then, then I inevitably say, "I bet you'll never make that mistake again."
Yeah.
And, I don't think I will.
She may make it, but then catch herself
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
rest of her life.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
and she might walk away and go, "What kind of snot is that guy?" But you know what? He's right.
Well, you put that in the category of, like, why do we park on driveways and drive on parkways,
Right,
right? So
right.
this is why do we ask what was your name to a living person? Make
And
things that make you go,
and God bless his soul in heaven. You know where I had to learn that from
your daddy.
my late great dad.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
and I heard him say it a lot. Wore off on me.
yeah, exactly. All right, is that all? That wasn't all of them.
That was it.
Oh,
It was five. It's, it was f-
5 things under
it
the
was a
same.
seven sentence conversation
Got it.
instead of just
Oh, I got it. You're
yeah,
being a little creative with 5 random things.
I
Sammy,
got
you
them
got a
all in.
random thing today? What's the first thing that pops to your head right now?
Formula One.
Oh my God, my
You
son.
liked it. You liked it.
I do. I do. I like it.
Hey, I looked at the newspaper and I saw your man,
Hulkenberg.
the Hulk.
Did you really?
In the sports section, they had the standings,
Oh yeah,
Let's
yeah.
go to
and
that
I saw
bottom.
that there were 19 guys, not
Only.
racing, 19 guys running, as they
Yeah,
like to say,
yeah.
19 guys running.
Uh-huh.
He started 17th and he finished 7th. I'm saying that's some nice driving.
And
It's some
in
nice
Formula
driving.
One, they have really good cars and really bad cars. He is in the worst car, like proven statistically, and doing that, it was crazy. And 19 people started the race, 14 people finished it.
For
So it
those of
was
y'all watching who have kids, Sammy's will be 21 in July. Uh, Sammy, up until about not even this time last year,
no,
April of last year, or May
yeah.
He
or
thought
June,
Formula One was something you
he
fed to babies, right?
yeah, or that he
Yeah.
had to take for a cold.
I did not like it. Even when Kennedy first showed me, I did not like anything about it. I didn't like how teams have more money than others, how all the drivers were friends and talking to each other. But now I love it. Now I understand
And
it.
now he's so addicted and passionate that even Kennedy Sammy's girlfriend showed me a video of him. You were dancing or something. I don't know if
Probably.
that was about Formula One,
Probably,
but
yeah.
so being the responsible dad I am, and the dad that wants to always stay connected to my kids, Saturday night at 11:15, I'm trying to keep my eyes open, and I'm watching Formula One in Australia.
Live
It's
from
raining.
Melbourne.
It's raining. I don't know the first rule. They got what they call formation laps. I'm like, what the heck does that mean? And they're driving in that rain, and a couple of them spun
I mean,
out.
six people crashed.
Did they?
So, yeah.
Yeah. But actually, I will tell you, as racing goes, NASCAR. The only good thing about NASCAR is to go to one
Yeah.
because it is so loud and so literally awesome.
And you can see the whole track too if they're on an oval.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's just unless they're restrictor places and they're right on top of each other like Daytona and Talladega, it's boring as heck. And then, in my opinion, don't come at me for that. But I like IndyCar, so I watched Formula One, and
Well,
it was exciting.
if you do go to a race, they have screens that show the whole race.
Yeah.
So good.
I ain't for the prices you told me yesterday. I'm not going to see a
You're not
stupid race.
you're not
No,
gonna get us some?
I didn't know the deal was I'd buy you tickets to see SMU
I'm just
football.
kidding. I'm just kidding.
Well, you forced me into this next segment, and I did my homework, so let's get going.
All right,
on
here
it.
we go. So
All
March
right.
Madness starts today. Actually, it used to start on Thursday
With the play-ins
with the play-in. So we got 4 play-in games. Let me just tell you who those are. We got Alabama State, which is, you know where Alabama State is located?
in southern Alabama.
No, Montgomery, Alabama, which is central Alabama. Uh, Playing St. Francis University. This is tonight. And then Texas in the later game plays Xavier. That ought to be a good game. Tomorrow night we got what does that say? American University, I think is what it is, at Mount St. Mary's, and then followed by San Diego State and North Carolina. Boy, the the West Virginia governor, do you see what he's doing? He's asking for a criminal investigation into how they were not included, but North Carolina was. And you know who the head of the committee is? The athletic director at North Carolina. But
Wow.
he had in an interview the other night, he said, I recuse myself from anything having to do with North Carolina.
And you know what color they wear? Carolina blue.
Baby blue. Yeah, it's a
Baby
great
blue.
color.
It's not baby blue.
So
It's
that
Carolina blue.
the March Madness starts tonight. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go through this in rapid fire because we only, we gotta do it. Chuck, North
Are you
Carolina
gonna
should
be
not.
marking them
Chuck's
up as you
agree.
go?
I'm marking mine up. Y'all mark yours up. All right, we got Auburn against either Alabama State or St. Francis. What y'all got?
Auburn.
Auburn.
All right. We got Louisville or Creighton.
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 Michigan State, San Diego.
That's Michigan, but I'll take Michigan.
Oh, Michigan. I'm sorry. All right, I got Michigan too. What about you, Jeffrey?
I got Michigan on that one too.
Texas A&M or Yale?
Texas A&M.
All right, Jeffrey.
I got the Aggies.
Ole Miss against San Diego State or North Carolina?
San Diego State or North Carolina.
Yep, I got an upset right there. What about
I
you?
got Ole Miss.
Okay, Iowa State, Lipscomb.
Iowa State.
Iowa State, they're a sleeper.
I got the not the Hawkeyes,
The Cyclones.
Cyclones. I got them.
Marquette or New Mexico?
New Mexico.
I got a big part of my heart.
Oh, I'm not sure, Sammy. Over that stat, there's a guy on TikTok that goes deep into the stats, and he says, "Don't pick a 10 seed. They don't do very good." All right,
Hang on. Where are we?
Miss Marquette or New Mexico?
New Mexico.
Oh no, that's Michigan State.
No, you need your eyes. You need to put your glasses on. Marquette, right above it. Marquette, New Mexico. What do you have?
Give me the Lobos.
A Lobo. Listen to you. You know who coaches the Lobos?
No.
Richard Pitino. Rick Pitino's son.
Oh, okay.
Michigan State or Bryant?
Michigan State.
Michigan State.
Florida or Norfolk State?
Florida.
UConn or Oklahoma?
Can I get in there?
Oh, yeah. Florida. Okay. UConn or Oklahoma?
Oklahoma.
Jeffrey?
Oklahoma.
Memphis or Colorado State?
Colorado State.
Memphis.
Oh, listen to you, Sammy. Maryland or Grand Canyon?
Maryland.
I'm going Grand Canyon.
I got Maryland.
Missouri or Drake?
Drake.
I got Drake too. What about you?
One of my experts that I did a little research on has got Missouri going all the way, and I'm taking Missouri.
He ain't got any sense.
He
Drake,
like-
you
he
know what
also
Drake is?
in Iowa. They run the Drake.
Where in Iowa?
They run the Drake.
That's like saying, where do I live? Well, I live in Texas.
What race do they have there?
What?
Where?
Track and field, famous track and field race.
I don't have any idea.
Thank you very much. I don't know the city, but that's where the Drake relays are run.
Okay, well, where's Drake?
Iowa.
What city in Iowa? Des Moines.
Good morning.
Texas Tech or UC Wilmington?
Texas Tech.
Jeffrey?
Tech.
Kansas State, Arkansas.
That's Kansas. I'll take Arkansas.
Oh, Kansas. Yeah, I got Arkansas
I-
too.
I
Although
got
it's a
the-
10
I got
seed.
I got the Jayhawks.
It's a bad deal. St. John's or Omaha.
St. John's.
St. John's all
I
the
think
way.
we're only going to do the first 2 rounds on
That's
this.
what I
All
beg
right.
you to do.
Duke or American or St. Mary's. So Duke, we know Duke's going to win that game.
Yeah.
Mississippi State or Baylor. Ooh, one close to everybody's heart.
Baylor.
Baylor.
Baylor. Let me see what Chuck had to say here. Chuck, Scott Next Year the Sun should do a bracket locally. That would, yeah, we do them in the company for employees, but we should do one
Yeah,
for
we
the
should.
community. Give away something. Good idea, Chuck. We'll do it, brother. All right, Oregon State, Liberty.
That's Oregon.
Oregon.
I'll take Liberty.
Oh, there you go. What are they? 12 seed. I think you got something there, Sammy.
Yeah.
Arizona against Akron. The Zips.
Jeffrey.
I got Akron as one of the great sleepers of this tournament.
Nice,
I'll take
Jeffrey.
Akron because I was
You live there.
Live
You're almost
there.
born there. You're born in Cleveland, but
Cleveland.
Akron.
I always
We were
lived
living in Akron. BYU or VCU?
BYU.
Oh,
young.
boy. I'm telling you right now, VCU. What do you got, Jeffrey?
I got BYU.
Who do you have,
Um,
Dad? VCU.
Yeah. Wisconsin, Montana.
Wisconsin.
I got the Badgers.
Wait,
Same-
why is their seeds so far apart, but they have the same record?
Because of the leagues,
Just
the competition.
Schedule? Okay.
St. Mary's, Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt.
Jeffrey.
I went to a different St. Mary's, so I'm taking St. Mary's.
All right. Alabama, Robert Morris. We know the answer to that. Don't even dare
You
pick
can't
Robert
pick
Morris.
anybody else while you're sitting
No,
in this
we will
table.
shut-
I got
We'll
Bama.
shut this show down in
Yeah.
a heartbeat. Giddy Payday says best viewers on. Oh, yeah, okay.
Just ignore
okay,
that.
Cool. Let's see. Houston at SIU, Edwardsville.
Houston.
You know where SIU is?
No, I don't.
Southern Illinois. Gonzaga or
I got the Cougars. What was the nickname for their great team that had Akeem Olajuwon and a few other great ones that won it all?
What was the nickname
This
for
is-
the team?
yeah.
It's such a great nickname.
The Dream Team.
They had Clyde the Glide.
I'll give you the initials of it.
What are the initials? Oh, Phi Samla Jamma.
Phi Slamma
Yeah.
Gamma.
With
that's cool.
Olajuwon. All right, we got Gonzaga, Georgia.
Chuck says he's got Duke winning it all.
Oh, there you go.
What if Cooper goes down, Chuck?
What if a frog had wings? He wouldn't bust his butt when he
What
jumped.
if my aunt
Gonzaga or Georgia?
Let me see the seeds. I'm gonna
Sometime
take
today.
Georgia.
I got the Zaga. I got the Zags.
I got Gonzaga too. Clemson or McNeese?
McNeese, because I don't like Clemson.
I think there's an upset right there.
Clemson. I'm gonna take it.
All right. Purdue, High Point.
Purdue, I don't know.
I'm going High Point because of what their team leader said. And
I'm going High Point because the Big Ten thinks it's loftier than it is.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, where's that at, Dad?
Where? I don't know.
You don't
North Carolina, maybe. I have to look it
it's
up.
at Providence.
No, the High Point. Where
Oh.
is it located?
Oh, I don't know.
Illinois, Texas, or Xavier?
Texas Xavier.
All right, I think you got something
I
there.
got-
What
I
about
got
you?
Longhorns.
Yeah, you got Longhorns in football too.
Yeah. Did pretty
Kentucky,
well.
Kentucky or Troy?
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
I got Kentucky too, but I do think there's a possibility of an upset there. You heard it here first. UCLA, Utah State,
UCLA.
Utah State.
Utah. I got UCLA. Tennessee or Wofford?
Tennessee.
Tennessee. What state is Wofford in?
I don't
Wyoming.
Know. Let's only go one round today.
Okay.
Wyoming.
Well, we won't have a chance.
Well,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
guess what? Because then
Oh, Thursday will be in the middle of our show while it's happening.
Yeah.
Okay, we can do that.
Let's
All
do
right.
that.
So Wofford, where, Sam?
Wyoming.
South Carolina.
Dang.
All right. So there you go. We got. How about we do this? Just we'll
feel you,
finish
Chuck.
the bracket out as we get to Friday.
Yeah.
I mean Thursday. But right now, if you had to pick a winner, for the whole thing, Who would it be?
I got mine.
Sammy?
Auburn, no, St. John's.
Ooh,
St. John's. I'm not saying Auburn.
Jeffrey?
I was torn on St. John's, but I had them beat, and I wanted Mizzou all the way, and they were going to have to face Mizzou. I got Mizzou. I
I
got
love
the
Mizzou.
Winning
I
the
got
whole
the
thing?
sleeper. Yeah.
I
love
got
Mizzou.
St. John's too. My son's cheating off of me.
No, oh yeah,
Plain
kind of.
and simple.
I haven't watched any college basketball.
And
But
who is the
I'm telling you,
guy?
St. John is a stud basketball team.
Who's the guy? The coach's name, and I think it's something like IGEE.
Where?
I don't know. I'm going to tell you this part, and you tell me who he is. Okay. He's taken 8 teams to the Final Four, and now he's coaching somebody else now.
8?
8.
I don't
I
think
saw it
that's
the other
right.
day, and I
I
didn't.
think you dreamt that.
Just a minute.
Chuck, who's your number 2? Sammy, one of those.
Michigan State's coach,
Oh, Izzo.
Izzo.
No, he's coached at Michigan State for about 89 years. He's never coached another team. Well, at least in
So he's taking them 8
4
times.
decades.
Is that
No,
what you're saying?
he's not.
I'll
bet you all
have
anything.
that researched by
All right, you do
Thursday.
that.
Chuck,
okay?
who do you have if Duke goes out because Cooper has an ankle injury
Yeah.
right now?
Yeah, well, we'll have
Yeah,
to
I
give
did
Chuck a
hear that
chance.
that
He
was
wants to
gonna be
talk
an
about
issue.
F1 too, Sammy.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. So we'll come back on Thursday and we'll do some more picking. I love this. We do about 10 to 15 brackets each. And 1 year out of about 40 that I've done, I won something. You know, Warren Buffett used to have a deal. If you had a perfect bracket, perfect, which no one ever has, you know how much you'd win?
Full mill?
500K.
$1 billion
Really?
with a perfect bracket.
He still does it?
I don't know if he still does it or not, but I'm going for it. All right, Jeffrey.
I had a
Auburn's a good-
terrible,
Auburn's a good pick,
terrible
Chuck.
No,
record.
are you doing a poem or no?
Auburn's a good pick, Chuck.
Oh, yeah, I'll do my poem. This was a short one.
A short poem?
Yeah. So go ahead and say thank you.
Thank you.
You're
You need to have
welcome.
a basketball. Auburn. No, come on. I got Auburn and Alabama in one of my brackets in the final game with Alabama winning.
What was happening 5 years ago in March 18th of 2020?
We were shutting down the world.
We were shutting it
Just
down.
after spring break, the schools would have told us that we had an extra week of
Exactly.
break.
And then what happened then?
It
Mask it,
Yep.
social distance, shut down the businesses. And I read this to 6th, 7th, and 8th graders yesterday. They loved it. I read it to second graders today. I read it last week at Mercy Academy. They loved it. And it's called The Smile in Your Eyes. And
There
it
you
was
go.
inspired by being in the grocery line at HEB. And there was just this darling gal working the register. And she got the mask on. And I'm looking at her. I'm going, you got the biggest smile I've ever seen. And all I can see is your eyes.
That's cool. That's a cool
Isn't
statement.
that
Yeah.
a cool
I
thing?
bet she'll never forget
Okay,
that.
and if I could, you've heard it a million times. I'll write a poem about anything, anytime, if it inspires me.
Yeah.
And I went out and I wrote this thing in the front seat of my car
That's
that
awesome.
day, and it
That's
goes
good.
like this: I can see the smile in your eyes, though your mask is a partial disguise, peeking at all the guys, concealing your hidden sides. Your smile turns into an eye sparkle. It's really quite remarkable. This spark is natural. Simply put, it's actual. A smile can be a fake, certainly not hard to make, but folks can see through it. There's no substance to it. Someday I'd like to see your entire face smile at me, because know right now I'll be saying, wow.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome. Yeah,
thank
I
you.
bet she doesn't forget that.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, she doesn't know.
What?
She doesn't know that I loved her smile or that
Yeah,
I
yeah,
wrote a
yeah.
poem about her,
Amazing. Yesterday I
which
was
is what I like most.
Well, to your initial question there, yesterday I had to find an email and was trying to find an email and let's put in a keyword. I can't remember what the keywords were. It took me back to 2020. And I was looking at the emails from the school district and
And it was March of
saying,
2020? Yeah.
yeah, and it was saying we've extended our
Mhm.
spring break another week. And little did we know what
Yeah.
was to come, right? That's a very good poem.
Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
let's show our knowledge or the lack of it.
Oh, this was tough. This was tough, man.
It was tough. What was your score?
I think it was 1, 2, 3, 4.
About to go undefeated.
Please. 4 and 4 only because I got one bonus.
All right, let's
And I,
roll it.
and I started out 0 and 3. Good luck on you guys. Mohandas K. Gandhi was sentenced in India to 6 years imprisonment for civil disobedience. He was released after serving 2 years.
Mahatma Gandhi? Yeah. I can't remember. That has to be 1921.
1934.
1922.
Oh
Dang
yeah.
it.
I'm
Ooh.
feeling
I
it
was
today.
All
close.
right, look out for you
Mahatma
today.
Gandhi. Remember that, Sammy. The year associated with Mahatma Gandhi is 22. So when we have future questions, that's what you got to do with the Civil War, World
That's
War
also
II.
when women's suffrage
Yeah.
came that year. Here we go.
See, Sonya.
Those little hellions got out for spring break and didn't go. Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
yeah, and you're light on them, calling them little hellions. You're
Yeah,
going
no
light. Yeah,
kidding.
that's how kind you are.
Yeah. Thought you were
Chuck
talking
said
about our
nice.
dogs
20.
there a minute.
Nice, Chuck.
Okay.
Nearly
Yeah.
700 people died when the tri-state tornado struck southeastern Missouri, southern Illinois, and southwestern Indiana. It remains the single deadliest tornado in U.S. history. 700 people died.
Wow.
Tri-state, Missouri, Illinois,
Kansas?
and Indiana.
Oh,
1958.
I was going to say 55.
I said 55 also. 25.
Oh, wow.
Well, that wasn't a very
They
big
fooled
jump.
us there.
Yeah. And now, after the worst tornado, now we go to America's worst school disaster. Nearly 300 people, mostly children, were killed in a natural gas explosion at the New London Consolidated School in Rusk County, Texas.
Really?
1976.
Chuck said 58. You got it wrong. 81.
37.
I
Man.
We
had
are
no
creeping
idea.
along on our dates.
Yeah, we are.
What happened? An explosion in a school?
Yeah, gas
Wow.
explosion.
Yep.
That's sad.
President Franklin D. Roosevelt signed an executive order authorizing the War Relocation Authority, which forced Japanese Americans into internment camps during World War II.
All right, so you know when that was, right?
You said during World War II?
During which forced Japanese Americans into internment camps during World War II.
43.
46.
42.
Yes.
Pearl Harbor was in 41, and they
Good,
didn't
Sam.
take any time. They said, the Japs bombed us, and every Japanese person in this country that's a citizen, we don't trust you. You're all going into an internment camp. You're all Japanese
Yeah,
spies.
yeah.
That's what they
You know
did.
what? Did you watch Gutfeld last night?
I did not.
There's a guy on Gutfeld. He's never been on before, named Will Ron, and they were talking about these flights of illegal immigrants over there.
Nice, Chuck.
What you said just makes me think of it because he was a little jerk. I don't think he'll be back on, but he said, "Well, how do we know some of those people on those planes weren't just normal illegal immigrants? How do we know they're bad people?"
Well,
And
I thought they did the research.
yeah, and so all the rest of them said, "Wait a second, you think we're just picking up people and taking them over there?" By the way, remember those internment camps Trump was going to be creating everywhere in the country and putting people in? Let me know when they build the first one.
Yeah.
You know what they're going to say in TikTok?
Yeah, well,
Guantanamo.
that's not an internment camp. That's a prison.
It started out as a United States military base.
Yeah, it's a prison now.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Chuck got that last one right.
Chuck's on a roll.
The first spacewalk took place is Soviet cosmonaut Alexei Leonov went outside his Voskhod capsule secured by a tether.
I don't know when they went to.
I want to say, what was our
69.
last one? What was
The
our last
last one
date?
was 42.
69.
I'm going to say 63.
65. You guys both get it, though.
I'll take it.
Yeah. All right, cool.
2 thieves posing as police officers subdued security guards at the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum of Art in Boston and stole 13 works of art valued at a cool $500 million, the biggest art heist in history.
Did they find it? Did they find them?
I can only give you what I got.
I think I just saw a video about that, but
That's a great movie. What's the name of that movie? Sonia knows it.
I don't remember when it
Not
would
movie,
be.
series.
1970, 89.
I'm gonna
Make
say,
up your mind.
1989.
Thank you.
I want to say 1994.
1990.
Yes.
Oh yeah. This thing, it ain't got anything on us. We're kicking its butt today. Is this the last one?
Yes, sir. A self-driving Uber SUV struck and killed a pedestrian in Tempe, Arizona, in the first death involving a fully autonomous test vehicle.
Telling you.
2021.
Yeah, 2022.
18.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, take that. 5 and 2.
Good job, boss.
Yeah, that you know, I'm gonna give a little tease in my column tomorrow. It's about Elon Musk, and isn't it amazing that the things that if we would have been talking about what Elon Musk was doing today a year ago, the left in this country would hail him as the king of kings, going up and getting those astronauts, bringing them back.
Oh, you mean if he'd been a Trump guy and
No, if he'd have
a
just been who
Biden
he
guy?
was,
Yeah.
if he was doing what he would done a year ago before any of this stuff, Doge and Trump and all that, he'd be hailed as the king. And yet, my column tomorrow is to say, what is going on with this? Where's all this coming from, and why? So it's gonna. I may need bodyguards after tomorrow.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
It's very simple. Everybody knew that the things he's doing always needed to be done, but because it's Trump doing it, that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the whole problem.
Yeah.
It's misguided anger.
We'll talk more about it on Thursday.
Do you go
Chuck,
that
you did well.
direction in your? Do you
Good.
go that direction in
Oh
your?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Good.
What else do we need to before we close out? Anything else? We know March Madness. We gave the update. Well, Anthony Davis is supposed to be back, Sam. He's playing in the G League right now for
Texas Legends.
Texas Legends. We'll see if that pans out. The Mavericks have tanked it. I mean, I don't know how many they've lost in a row.
I saw a post a couple days ago that the Mavericks were under threat after not having enough players to be able to play a game. Like they were close to having to.
That they might have to forfeit.
Yeah.
And we talk about this? That you have to have 13 on your roster, and they suited 8 the other night, and then they suited 7. And they've got a couple guys that are on what they call the two-way contracts between the big team and the G League team. And you can only play so many up top. And they got 2 guys that after Friday will have played enough. So those guys are off.
Yeah.
And so
interesting.
The other question is when Anthony Davis is back, do we actually play him or do we sit him? So you said they tanked him. No, they're just getting killed. But now we're talking about, do they tank?
I don't know. I didn't mean
tank
it. Yeah, I
games
see
to lose them.
Yeah, no, I wasn't. I did use the word tank, but I mean we're tanking because we stink.
Yeah.
Not because we're doing it on purpose. But to your point, yeah, why would they play him?
And maybe we'll have to forfeit games.
Chuck says, are they still a team? Thank you, Isaac. Yeah, what are the Mavericks? Why just go for the number one? Why not get Cooper Flag? If we can figure out to be number one in the country, I think the Cooper Flag is the next Luka.
Yeah,
potentially. So we'll see what happens. All right, close us out. Today is the meme of the day. This is a rather deep one, and so I'm going to read it slowly. This is from C.S. Lewis, one of my favorite writers of all time. Good and evil both increase at compound interest. That is why the little decisions you and I make every day are of such infinite importance. The smallest good act today is the capture of a strategic point from which, a few months later, you may be able to go on to victories you never dreamt of. So the things we do today, no matter if we think they're small, that are good, they are compounding. It'll lead to more good and more good and more good. That's what he's trying to say. I completely agree. All right. Thank y'all for being with us. We'll be back on Thursday. We're talking about a lot of things. Chuck, we're going to be talking about the ratings and polls. So
remember, don't write a check you can't cash.
Bye.